Wow, ladies and gentlemen, crude oil's up 12%, clears $90 a barrel. Incredible news today. Oh my goodness, wars, and then behold the pale white horse and the four horsemen of the apocalypse. The Straits of Hormuz apparently is shut down. Stocks retreat amid inflation fears and weak U.S. jobs. That could, with this oil, some are calling oil saying it could go to $120 to $150 a barrel. So, and gold's up big. Incredible news. So just covering that today and looking at the newsreels. Do me a favor, give me a like and a share, and let's get the word out. And please subscribe to my channel. Thanks. And you can leave comments down below. Today is Friday, March 6, 2026. Incredible news. So Trump tells, on CNN is reporting, Trump says he's not worried whether Iran becomes a democratic state. And then says here, President Biden, Obama, and Clinton attend funeral service for the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Incredible. And Cuba, news on Cuba. See, Cuba used to get much of its oil from Venezuela, and now that that's ended, and that shuts off China and Cuba to the cheap gas tank of Venezuela. And so Cuba is next to fall. And he's going to put Marco over there. Marco Rubio is going to Cuba. Who knows? Castro, a lot of news. I just go over this wars and, my goodness. Russia is aiding Iran's war effort by providing intel on U.S. military targets, sources say. So, is this World War III? Incredible. That's what's being reported on CNN. So to keep things in balance, let's look at Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera is reporting. I look at all the news stories, all the different news outlets, BBC. All right, Al Jazeera is reporting Trump wants unconditional surrender as attacks continue across Iran. The Straits of Hormuz, again, is shut down. Iran war, what is happening on day 7 of the U.S.-Israeli attacks? So this is U.S.-Israeli and Iranian attacks, live tracker, U.S. attacks on Iran. It says here the DEA-TH toll and injuries. 1,332 people have passed away since, the last few days in Iran and the war effort. My goodness. So, I'm not a professional newscaster, so trying to report on war and everything. Saudi Arabia, news on it, incredible. So, my goodness. So let's, I just kind of go over this. Check out this ebook that I just recently penned. You can see the link below. AI Music Production 101, How to Use Artificial Intelligence for Music Production. So, unlock your musical potential with AI, with artificial intelligence. Are you ready to revolutionize your music production? AI Music Production 101 is your comprehensive guide to integrating AI, artificial intelligence, into your creative process. Whether you're a musician, producer, or audio engineer, my course will show you how to leverage artificial intelligence, AI, to make your workflow faster, smarter, and more creative. It's not about replacing human creativity, it's about supercharging it. Check out my ebook link below, Artificial Intelligence Music Production 101. So enough on that. A word from our sponsors, which is my own ebook that I wrote for you. Trump, unconditional surrender to Iran. Wars, my goodness. So let's see what Fox News is reporting. Stock market's off again today. Oil's pumping. Shadow fleet crackdown backfires on China and Russia as oil routes collapse. Incredible. So it's saying here that this warfare Shipping through the Straits of Hormuz grinds to a slowdown amid Iran conflict. Israel strikes Hezbollah as Lebanese government signals shift on Iran militia. Iran proxies strike Israel from Iraq. U.S. is in the crosshairs as Baghdad pressured to act. Shipping through the Straits of Hormuz grinds to a slowdown during this conflict. It says here, unacceptable behavior with Iran targeting civilians. San Francisco mayor is broken before a security detail news. Biden appointed judge, Supreme Court, man. So, popular city doubles as a tourist tax after locals use. Okay, got a lot of this news isn't PC, so I'll try to remain PC the best I can, So like and share, I just do my own research here. Wow, look at this. S&P 500, okay. It's back up, but it was off. Okay, the E-minis are off 66 points, and NASDAQ mini off 214. Dow futures off about 500 points. We could see a big, 1929, like 20% dip all of a sudden in the stock market, and then we have an 80, 90% dip in the stock market indexes. Is the AI bubble going to burst? Tell me what you think. First, we had companies like NVIDIA and then Supermicro. They built out all of the infrastructure for AI. And now we're seeing companies like Oracle having to lay off people because they may have done too much CapEx, betting the ranch on AI infrastructure. So, the Dixie. Now here's the thing too, the VIX. All right, the VIX is up 2 points to 24, almost $25 on the VIX. So usually at the top of markets, when we get an increase in VIX, that volatility going back and forth like this typically signifies a major trend change. So we shall see how this VIX trade plays out. The dollar again, 98.93. The 10-year, got to watch a yield on the 10-year. Crude oil clears $90 a barrel on its way to $120, $150 a barrel, $200 a barrel. Is hyperinflation going to affect the crude oil market? Some are saying, I'm just kind of repeating the news headlines, saying that the Straits of Hormuz and the price of crude oil going up, it could shut down the entire economies of the entire planet. So it's incredible. Nat gas is up at 3.198. Gold looking good, up $101. My goodness. At $55,180 an ounce. Silver pumping again, up $2.75 to approximately $85 per ounce. I'm looking for silver to retrace, if it does, back to $55 an ounce if I can, and then it'd be back in the truck up. But I'd like to see it retest the old breakout high. Stocks that are active: Tesla is active, NVIDIA, Broadcom, Micron Technologies, Palantir's pumping up 5%. Microsoft's actively traded, Marvell Technologies, MRVL up 21%. Amazon's active, SanDisk active, and then Apple Computer. And then chart of the day is MiTek Systems, stock symbol MITK. So I just do my research for myself on my own news desk. Not financial advice, see the risk disclaimers below, but I just give you free alpha. Stay with me to the end. So crude oil, again, the VIX is up, gold is up. So I'm selling some of my silver bags of silver bullion here. And then, let's see, Bitcoin. Let's look at the futures. The performance leaders, TTM, over the last 52 weeks trailing, is the greatest positive weighted alpha is silver bullion. So I'm selling silver bullion into the strength and then taking those hyperinflated dollars. And then silver has a positive 142 weighted alpha over the last 52 weeks trailing, along with platinum, lithium, palladium, ULSD, New York Harbor. Fuel is up, gold, crude oil, WTI. All right, so what's on the bottom of the list that has the greatest negative weighted alpha is cocoa, orange juice, and then Bitcoin micro. So Bitcoin futures is there too, has a negative 30% weighted alpha. So what I'm doing is I give myself financial advice. I'm selling my bags of silver into the pump and then backing the truck up into Bitcoin. So that's my trading plan for myself. And so silver bullion did the same thing like 5 years ago. It capitulated and then dipped in price. No one wanted to own it, so I backed the truck up at that time. So, seeing this news here, Bitcoin's off about 3.5%. SPY, met its dippy dip here. So a DCA SPY ETF, it was off at one time today, about 1.5%. In the last 3 months, we've seen, just the last month alone, we've seen, the SPY ETF off about 2%. So we shall see. I own the triple Qs and then DIA ETF. So I'm backing the truck up today into BKCH, the blockchain ETF, and then also backing the truck up into FSOL, the Solana ETF. Purchased some more Solana today on the dippy dip. So that's what we have. That's my trading plan for today. Got to be thankful. I say this every day. I give thanks for my abundant supply now manifested. I have it now. We have so much to be thankful for. And man, is this World War III? Let's see some more of this news. Let's see what the BBC is reporting. BBC News. I look at different news agencies and around the globe to get different perspective. Tehran sees strikes every few hours. Trump demands Iran's unconditional surrender. So, Iran schools and hospitals and landmarks, sites that are being targeted, China and Russia, North Korea, Crimea Peninsula. There's a lot going on. And a lot of news with the DOJ here, with the Jeffrey files. So, got a lot of news here with this. So just trying to remain relevant and then trying to survive like everyone else. So the topics, people are concerned about the hyperinflation, paying at the pump, fuel costs. And, it could shut down the entire target, economies of the entire modern world. So here's the topics that people are talking about. I'm researching this too. The Dow Jones saw a significant decline, falling as much as 1,100 points yesterday. Is this 1929 again? The Q1? Oil prices crossed $80 a barrel and then on to $90 during, because of escalating conflict involving Iran. And oil could, easily go to triple digits, $150 to $200 a barrel if the situation spirals out of control. The Straits of Hormuz, the straits are shut down, could cause a food crisis. Iran warning, a minister stated that not seeking a ceasefire and warned that the U.S. invasion would be a big disaster. I would agree. Iran's been conquered many times. Or not conquered, but invaded many times in its past, but it's not ever conquered. So, the entire country of Iran could turn into like the Battle of Stalingrad type of thing. So, chip exports, the U.S. is reportedly planning new regulations to restrict AI chip shipments, especially to China, without Washington's approval. That could be, continue. And then Other countries are dumping the US dollar, and the US dollar is being weaponized. In creation of global enemies are cited. A lot of times now the US is not making many friends globally. Banking and retail failures. Boy, this Blue Owl situation, Blue Owl Capital, true value of their, mark-to-market assets. Blue Owl reminds me of a hybrid between long-term capital management and the 2008-2009 bank failures of Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, and Washington Mutual. When assets get marked to the market rather than what their stated value is. Blue Owl Capital, companies like such, and then KKR, they're looking at these alternative assets and hedge funds and saying that they're possibly not, worth what they're being stated as. They could be cooking the books type of thing. So these are the news topics that I'm researching. And the history of Persian warfare over the last 2,500 years, I'm kind of researching that. The immortals, different tactics that they used. So Iran, it's been about over 400 years since Iran's really had warfare. So we shall see. U.S. naval conflict and escalation, U.S. submarine attack. U.S. submarine sunk an Iranian warship in the Indian Ocean with a torpedo. That hasn't happened since World War II. And over 100 people were lost at sea. Regional wars. Man, I'm running about 17 minutes. Current situation, there's multiple regional wars. The Taliban with, my goodness, they're getting into with Afghanistan and Pakistan and, all these wars, the Straits of Hormuz again. Bank runs are possible too. You got to be careful with bank runs. A lot of this major too big to fail institutions and private credit is being marked to market. Again, Lehman Brothers all over again. It's just opinion only. I don't give financial advice. And we have to be cognizant also of hyperinflation. They could print another $5 to $10 trillion. So a loaf of bread, in 10 years could cost $50,000 for a loaf of bread. Are we going full Weimar? So, and then Dubai, there's a mass exodus in Dubai. The wealthy elites they're trying to leave Dubai and for safer cities, So Dubai is right there in the Persian Gulf. And in order to leave such, you have to go through Iran, through the Straits of Hormuz type of topography and demography. So we shall see. And also too, the modern warfare is being built on AI, robots, and mass surveillance with drones. And, we got American cities too. We got to be careful here in the home front, the good old US of A. And then prepare also too for the Great Reset. So we shall see. And then the reveal. So now's the time to top your preps off. So that's what we have. Iran is the final prize. That's been said many times. Running about 18 minutes, but Persia and Iran, long-term standing prediction that Iran is the final target remodeling of the Middle East. And then North and South Korea. North and South Korea could be a major global flashpoint again. And then also Cuba. We got to keep our eyes on Cuba and their crisis, what's going on there too. And also being aware of cyber events. So that's what we have. It's kind of tough for me to kind of read the news too and then go through this like everyone else, trying to make sense of all this. But I also again, I'm backing the truck up on Bitcoin because it has 100% downtrend. So people are capitulating and throwing in the towel. So people, oh man, I'm looking at this again. Crude oil yesterday was $80 a barrel, now 90. Big breakout. Stocks like Tesla, Nvidia, Broadcom, Micron Technologies, Palantir, and Microsoft are very actively traded. So, and then the U.S., lost 92,000 jobs last month as the unemployment rate ticked up. Is this the Babson break that we're experiencing? Where Babson University suggested many years ago with Babson that, there's going to be a stock market correction and it's going to be terrific and then have a 90% dip? Or is the stock market going to hyperinflate, and then the Federal Reserve new chairman then will drop interest rates lower and lower in order to pump up stock prices, and then we have a 29 style market correction? Tell me what you think. So these are the news stories I'm covering. So again, I give thanks for my abundant supply, everyone. I'm on my news desk and trading desk. Bitcoin, I'm buying the dip. Thanks, everyone.